Hey, how you doing out there today? Welcome to Uncle Steve's Lounge. I am Uncle Steve, and we are here again with the Monday Minutia. And the Monday Minutia has had kind of a similar feeling to it for the last 7 to 8 weeks, where we always try to explain on Monday what happened to our Atlanta Falcons, and knowing now that they are out of any type of postseason consideration. Not that we didn't know that a few weeks ago, but it's official now. The Atlanta Falcons, for the eighth straight year, not only will not make the playoffs, but will have a losing season. And what do we do from here? Well, if you're Uncle Steve, what you do is you pivot and you talk about everything else. So we're gonna talk still Atlanta Falcons today. Your disappointment in that thrashing yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks, who are a really good team, by the way. And really what happens now from 2025. I know we've had redundant speak about it. We're gonna change things up a little bit today. We're gonna talk not only Atlanta Falcons, we're going to talk surprise team for the NFL playoffs this year. Also, we'll talk about one of my favorite topics, music. This is December 8th. It is December. That means it's Christmas time, which is one of my favorite times of the year musically. What's on your radio? What's on your CD? What's on? I don't even know CD. Who listens to CD? What are you streaming? What are your favorite songs? Come on in, sit down, chop it up with your uncle. We'll be back in a second. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time.
What's going on? Happy Monday to you. I am your host, Uncle Steve, and you're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you for joining us here on this still cold, man. Down here in the South, it's just crazy. This They say it's cooler than normal, which is an understatement. Most of the time here in December, not to say that it's 90 degrees, but most of the time it's still at least maybe low 70s, high 60s or something like that. And usually you don't get that cold, crisp thing going on until January. But this year, man, it has been crazy. And I have felt the repercussions of that, as I don't know if my voice is telling a lot. It's got a little bit of creepiness to it. So forgive me if it's not sounding as clear. I hope you can hear me well. But yeah, man, it's cold and sinus. That stuff is real when it gets cold. So I hope everyone out there is doing well during this chilly weather. Again, the Monday Minutia. I wish over the last 8 weeks, I wish I was able to give you some different talking points over what's been going on for the last couple of months here. It is very similar to the stretch we had last November and December of 2024, where we every week it was something's wrong. We're going to fix it. Something's wrong. We're going to fix it. And now you talk about since that time, we won 6 games. Give them credit where credit is due. The Falcons have won 6 games. And that's just not acceptable by any standard. Right now, the only other team, because it looks like the Carolina Panthers are headed to either the playoffs or right on the cusp of the playoffs, which is better than what we're doing right now. Right now, the Jets, the Panthers, and the Falcons have the longest playoff drought going on. And that's a problem. It's a problem not just because, you know, we're losing these games, but I think normally if you go through a season or two, I take, for instance, probably the Kansas City Chiefs. Bad example since they won 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls, but let's put them up there anyway. My cousin Jamal, who is a big time Kansas City Chiefs fan, I know he's ticked at his team right now because they aren't playing that good. They set the standard and they're not playing up to that standard. But at least there's some equity within the last few years for the Kansas City Chiefs fans not to boycott the team, talk out of their neck, trade everybody on the team, just do fake rage podcast and messages and fake burn your jersey and all of that nonsense that comes with the I want to be seen fan. But to the fan as myself, I can't keep deluding myself to think that this is okay. When I'm looking around and you mean to tell me 29 other teams have made the playoffs in the last 8 years, yet the Falcons can't. Yes, that includes Cleveland. Yes, that includes the Raiders. Yes, that includes Tennessee. Yes, that includes New Orleans. Yes, that includes Arizona. Yes, that includes the Giants. So you think of over the last decade of teams that we would even consider, oh man, they're not a good organization. Those organizations have made the playoffs. So each week I come here and I try to put a positive spin on things, but it's really hard. I mean, we can go to the fire this person, fire that person, and I get that. That comes with the territory. That we've been dealing with that forever. But it gets very redundant. I saw one of my buddies, Red, post on Facebook. Red does Red and Rev show, Red Rev and Coach on Saturdays. Shout out to those guys. And he put a post on there. He said, you know, the talk is getting redundant. What else do we talk about? Of course, we want to express ourselves. It's not saying don't express yourselves about losing. But at some point, how many times can you say fire the coach? And we know he's going to get fired. This is like the biggest non-secret. I don't think Arthur Blank is that naive. Do I think Arthur Blank might need to change his circle of people giving him advice about the team? Maybe. But I know in his wildest dreams, even with injuries, he didn't think it was going to go down like this. There are only 5 teams with a worse record than us right now. I take that back. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually 7. Sorry. That's still too many. That's still, you're in the bottom third of the NFL. A team that, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm always gonna probably play silver lining. I'm looking at number 27 on defense, and I'm saying, oh boy. Ooh, and he gets a summer to get it together another year. I'm looking at number 11, who keeps coming on and off the field and just keeps wrecking havoc. I look at number 0, who when we all signed him, we were like, who? And what he does for the defense. I'm looking at Dorless and saying, oh, well, he'll be a little fill-in player, and he has been outstanding. I'm looking at Rook, and I'm thinking about the future of this defensive line. And there's no way I can sit here and say there aren't things that I see in this team that could possibly, make us winners. And I flip on the offense. Folks, I haven't given up on Michael Penix yet. I know everybody is, he got injured and he got injured. Hey, people get injured. Say that to Daniel Jones. Say that to Aaron Rodgers. Say that to, the only quarterbacks that hadn't got hurt that many times is Tom Brady. Let's be honest. Every major quarterback has had 1 or 2 injuries. Penix is going to be fine. But we are going to have to find out what we're going to do in the interim, because it's probably not likely that he'll be starting at the beginning of the year. Yes, we have to find that solution. And yes, the fans will probably have to be patient. I've heard every scenario today and the whole week, well, yesterday especially after the game. Again, one of the reasons I do the Monday Minutia on Monday is so I could take that 24 hours, kind of take a deep breath and give you something at least different. If I had a dime for every fire Raheem post, we get it. If I had a dime for every time somebody say, well, stop saying fix it. I don't know what people want the man to say. Raheem Morris right now is probably on the phone with friends saying, I'm probably not going to make it. I'm probably gone after this year. And who knows? He and Arthur might have already had the talk. Hey, Raheem, we're going to let you slide out. We're going to let you finish up the year. And then, of course, we're going to have that talk. There's no way that he's hanging around. And then, of course, the cat let out the bag this morning. If you were listening to 92.9 The Game, where Dave Archer said he kind of listened in on the locker room speech after the game, where Raheem literally had to say, hey, if y'all don't want to be here, don't show up Monday. Now, usually I'm not one. Now, that was Dave Archer again. Go back to Odyssey app and listen on 92.9 The Game. He was on the morning shift around the 8:20 time slot. So if you want to hear it for yourself. So I'm usually not one on rumors. I hear a lot of people always tell about, well, I heard. Well, Dave Archer was in the locker room. He said that happened. So that's why I'm repeating. If you have to go to that speech, then you're probably dead man walking. Figuratively, of course. I don't think Raheem Morris is sitting home today saying, I can redeem myself. And I think he's a big boy about it. He was a little testy today at his press conference. He should be. Of course he is. He's got pride. If y'all think for 1 minute that he's liking this, that's pretty dumb. And then I listened to some idiotic talk about why we hired him and why he's here, and then you get those clowns that want to come out with that mess. And that angers me, so let me stop and pivot again, because I don't want to get on that soapbox. But I don't think in his heart of hearts Raheem thinks he's going to be around. So I think your wish is going to come true for most of you Falcon fans. And it's nothing to celebrate. There are going to be some of you, oh, great, great. We got rid of it. So we start over again. And then we all have our opinions. Should it be an OC? Should it be an offensive minded coach? Should it be somebody who can delegate? Should it be a seasoned coach? Should it be a new fresh mind? Should it be? We've tried it all. Mike Smith was new. Dan Quinn was new. Arthur Smith was new. Raheem was retread. Dan Reeves was retread. Jim Mora was new. So it's not like they aren't trying. They've gone defensive mind. They've gone offensive minded. Hey, they even tried Bobby Petrino, who I still, to this day, think everybody kind of gives him a hard time. I'm on the other side. I'm like, hey, Bobby was promised vintage Mike Vick, and he got Joey Harrington and Byron Leftwich. I think I'd leave too. Wrong way to do it, but I don't blame him. So we've tried it all. So I zoomed in yesterday in the fourth quarter, and I always stay to the end. I stay to the final whistle every game. And I looked over on the side, and usually you see the picture of Arthur Blank, and usually he's either by himself or with one of his folks. And I noticed his son by him a lot lately. And I wonder, no speculation, no, I don't know. I just had the picture and I said to myself, I wonder, is he gonna be in his dad's ear? And the fact that he's a little younger and probably more, up to date with what people are saying out there. And he's probably saying, hey, Pops, the word is out, man. The folks are fed up. Last time this happened a few years ago, they defaulted on PSLs. The stadium is still half empty. A lot of Seahawks fans there, not a surprise. And that's pretty much what you're going to get until you get some consistent winning. And it really doesn't matter who's here. At this point, if I don't like him and he gets some good results, so be it. It's too late to go to the Wayback Machine. We should have hired Vrabel. We should have hired Ben Johnson. We should have hired this person. It's too late. I've heard at one time or another, every single person who's out there bashing the hire now give their blessing at one time. Everyone. So we're all kind of culpable in that situation. Now, what do we do next? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, y'all. I really don't. I have no idea what we're going to do. All the rumors about Matt LaFleur and Mike Tomlin and Kyle Shanahan and, all the other stuff, that's for another day. But right now, Raheem has to get this team turned around. So he hopes not to get embarrassed on Thursday to a Tampa Bay team who's already ticked off that they lost to New Orleans. So I do want to hear from you and hear what you think. But again, while we're here, and so that we just don't get flooded with the same negative nanny-ish, because that gets on my nerve too. It's only so many times. It's only so many jokes I can hear about how bad Raheem is. We know it. I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm just saying at some point you do get tired. So I added to the list today. Let's talk about an NFL team poised to make a playoff run in 2025. A team that you said to yourself, I didn't see that. New England comes to mind first. Drake May. Nobody considered how quickly that was going to happen. The resurgence of Jacksonville. All of a sudden, at one point in the year, oh man, Trevor Lawrence, he's this. Now they're 9-4, number 3 seed at the moment. Is the Dallas farce gonna rear its ugly head again? They were playing hot until last week against Detroit. Chicago took a loss to Green Bay yesterday, but Chicago's still firmly in the playoff picture right now at 9-4. Ahead of just about everybody else. I think Detroit too. And then what about Carolina, even in the NFC South? Say what you want to say. Nobody had raise your hand if you had Carolina in the playoff hunt in week 14. Stop lying unless you're in the Charlotte greater area of Charlotte. So tell me what you're thinking from that end. Who's your MVP so far? 2025. I mentioned Drake May up in New England. That's a good candidate. What about what Matt Stafford is doing? Matt Stafford just throwing up numbers. Throwing up numbers right now as they are the number 1 seed right now in the NFC. So who you got as your MVP for the NFL season? And last but not least, my favorite part, and I want everybody to try to participate if they can. Your favorite Christmas song. We come through this all the time, every year. Start talking about holiday season. You hear that Mariah Carey song one more time. God bless Mariah. That song will be number 1 again this week. Matter of fact, while I read the comments, I'm talking that junk. It might be number 1 already. It just might be. I know it made the top 5 last week. So, look at this. Soon as I said it, they come out with it every Monday. So Mariah Carey for the 19th week. This is today's Billboard. Jumps up to the number 1 position, and it'll be number 1 for the next 3 or 4 weeks. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Crazy. And 19 weeks, obviously, non-consecutively. Boy, what a cash grab. But other than Mariah, what are your favorite songs? As I see yours, I'll give you mine. Favorite all time, I think, if you listen to me long enough on here. George Michael's one of my favorite singers of all time. Last Christmas, I think, is not only one of their best songs, I think it's one of my favorite songs ever. Not just Christmas. Where singing his heart out about what old girl did to him last year. And now he's got his comeuppance. I'll get this to somebody special. You gotta love it. Or in George's case, maybe some man special. Didn't matter. It's all good. Either way. Last Christmas, one of my favorites. Got a couple of them that obscure as much. I love the James Brown album, his whole album, but Let's Make Christmas Mean Something this year. Love that one. Stevie Wonder, Someday at Christmas, always hits a different spot. So tell me what you like. Talk about these Falcons. Let's get into the chat. See what's going on in here. See what y'all talking about. DN Nico is in the house. What's going on, DN? He says, not trying to hear raw smoke this week, was totally on the players' catchable balls, not caught, but tipped up for interceptions, dropped passes, fumbles, missed tackles, and assignments. And that's a very good point. I mean, at some point, the players are going to have to be accountable for a lot of this stuff, man. I don't disagree with you at all. So yeah, we can always talk about uh coaching, which coaching is a huge part, but the players have to execute too. So I agree. Oh, Dre and the coaches corner in the house. What's going on, brother? Y'all make sure y'all check out Dre, Deb, and Keely on Wednesdays. They do their show uh, on their YouTube channel. Please make sure you like and subscribe to those. He said, we hilariously overestimated our talent. So done with the Falcons. Bring on the Temptation Silent Night and give love on Christmas Day. That's actually really good, too. I do like that. Yeah, I mean, but it's the hype every year, Dre. If you don't think for 1 minute, aside of the 14 teams that make the playoffs, there are going to be 18 teams that sitting back having the same conversation we're having. Only they aren't doing it 8 years in a row. So, yeah. Lisa Shepard in the house. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? I appreciate you stepping in and checking us out. Matter of fact, as y'all come in, make sure if you're on YouTube watching us, first, thank you. And then if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button for us on this stream so we can get it on out there in the algorithm. We appreciate you. Georgia, Texas boys in here. What's going on, sir? He said, what it do, Uncle Steve and family, Falcons family? We will have a new coaching staff in 2026. I 100% agree with you on that. I do believe we are headed in that direction. I was talking to Big Low Country Sports earlier. I'll make sure y'all check him out. He had his emergency coaches show last night. He was about as despondent and just ticked off as the rest of us are. And I was telling him the only other window that they could possibly make a coaching change would maybe be after the Tampa Bay game, because you got kind of a little bit of a mini bye. But at this particular point, with 4 weeks left, what does it really do right now? I mean, they're going to make wholesale changes. You might as well wait until January. The last game is January 4th. As I said before, Falcons do things in the midnight hour. I'm looking for that 10:45, 11 o'clock p.m. Thank Raheem for what he's done. Let's keep it moving. That's what I think. ATL Skate Man's in the house. What's going on, sir? Say hello, Uncle Steve. I don't know if anyone else has had this issue, but I had to unsubscribe then resubscribe to get the Monday Minutia this evening. My Christmas song is the Christmas Rap by Curtis Blow. Everybody loves that. I hope that's not the problem. I have no idea what's going on with that. Sorry about that, y'all. If you're having any issues with that, I apologize. I don't know why that would have happened, but hopefully you all will hang in there tight with me, and please resubscribe if they have done anything there. So I don't know. My buddy, I actually got super chat. I see my buddy John Harris in the house. Y'all make sure y'all check out the eye test on Wednesday. He and Winston Thornton do their late night thing going on there. So make sure you check out John doing his thing. He said the Bears are prima facie. What? I can't even read that. Evidence of what a team can do when you have experience, people in crucial positions in your organization, not first time on the job training. Well, I mean, but one way or another, this is Ben Johnson's first go round at it. I'm not gonna totally. I agree with you, but it's not like Ben Johnson hasn't been a head coach before. So whatever they're doing up there, you can appreciate it. But I mean, it's about picking the right person. You're right. I mean, you're right about in the right place. But this is his first time in a head coach position. So I'm kind of half and half with you, but I hear where you're going. More importantly, I appreciate the support, brother, and appreciate you giving up for us. Let's see what we got. Last season, we gave you a heart, but the very next year, the team disappeared. This year, to save us from tears, It's time to make some changes. Last season, we gave you our heart, but the very next year, the team disappeared. This year, to save us from tears, it's time to make some changes, changes. Oh, yeah, it's time to make those changes, man. Changes. Hopefully, Arthur Blank and company is listening to the fan base, because right now is just not a good time to be around. Lisa says the most disappointing thing through all of this is that season we had a talented roster, and we still have a talented roster. I mean, that's why I am very much a fan. I look at, well, I can't completely say New England, because New England spent a lot of money on free agents this year, but they did have a lot of young pieces in place from last year, and Mike Vrabel came in and flipped the switch. Chicago is probably the best example, even though they still had some money to spend as well. Sometimes it's just the voice. Maybe it's a different voice. And because this was such a short reign, and I'm saying it in the past tense like it's not official, but it's going to be official. But maybe we realized early on that Raheem wasn't the voice. Maybe all that mess with the Kirk Cousins, all that mess has come home to bite him. I don't know. But whatever is going on, we got to get that stink out of the organization and get it out quick. Charles B says, what's going on, brother? Said, what's going on, Steve? Let's bring in Mike Tomlin if he parts ways from the Steelers. Now, trust me, if you talk about somebody that you would back up the Brinks truck to, if he wants to do something new, you don't have to ask twice. That would be a great hire. Because if anything he shows, he's a leader of men, and he gets rid of riffraff that don't want to play right. Now, the one thing you can say about Mike Tomlin, he doesn't have losing seasons. Now, his playoff record is pretty okay, but not for the last 6-7 years. But we got to get to the playoffs first. We got to get a winning record first. So maybe he's the person to get us there. The aforementioned Keely is here. What's going on, Keely? How you doing, brother? He said Raw has to already know that his house should already be headed to the listens. I'm trying to tell you, if he's not on Realtor.com by now, I don't know what to tell you, brother. Uncle said the only thing I could ask for at this point to beat the Saints in the closeout, I have no expectations beyond that. That's me. And I'm going to be there. And just like this last game, and I'll be there for the Rams, and I'll be there for the Saints. The people change, the team doesn't. I'm going to be there. Keely is going to be there. So we just need a new voice, man. Just a new voice. Georgia, Texas boys say, I believe we need an offensive head coach, but I would definitely take Tomlin's leadership. Yep. I agree. David Starks in the house. What's up, Dave? Said, what's up, Steve? 8 years now. This is deeper than Morris. These losing seasons span 2 GMs and 3 head coaches. This is the organization failure from top to bottom. And I can't argue with that. And you know, how people always talk about the rut that was put on us from all the shenanigans with the new building and all that stuff. And as each year goes, I debunk that and say, y'all crazy, man. Stop talking about that, man. Yeah, that's ridiculous. 8 years later, I don't know. Oh, man. David also says, my favorite Christmas song is Neil's version of I Want to Come Home for Christmas. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Marvin Gaye has a good version of that, too. Yeah, both of those are pretty good. I love that. I love that song. Dre says, nope. Coach never liked this hire and been super vocal the whole time. Yeah, I mean, when I say everybody, I know you didn't like it. You're such an exception that I'm not going to throw you in that same category, Jay. But you're right. You've been calling for that. You've been saying that was not a good hire from the beginning. I agree. I agree with you, brother. Antoine, what's going on, man? He said, what's good, Uncle Steve? I've been saying the same thing for about 4 weeks, tired of hearing the same words over and over again. Let's get ready for next year. Yeah, it gets old. It gets old. There are only so many ways, unless you're interpreting different languages. To I think we need to fire Raheem. I think we need to fire Zach Robinson. It's only so many ways. Only so many ways. So it does get a little redundant. John Harris said, Carolina, who would have thunk it? I'm telling you. Absolutely. Carolina is right now. Now, I did kind of go through the playoff machine. Carolina is gonna have to be one game better than Tampa, because the tiebreaker that's gonna get them, even if they split, they played Tampa Bay out of the last 3 weeks. They played them 2 out of 3 weeks. The only way Carolina can win the division is to be one game better, because their common game record, Tampa Bay is much better. And I'm trying to remember which team it was. There's one team that Tampa beat that Carolina did. Dre says, I always thought May was him, but definitely surprised by Carolina and the Bears. That makes sense. Bobby, what's going on, brother? How you doing now? He said many of us has already checked out. We're pretty much just watching for entertainment purposes only, to keep from crashing on hopes. We's tired, boss. Yeah, man. Hey, we are way tired. That's for sure. I don't know how many other ways we can put it up there. Lisa agrees with me. She says Wham Last Christmas. How could a song be so sad yet be so uplifting at the same time? And it has a happy ending, but it's really kind of a sad beginning to the song. But hey, it is what it is. But I love the song. Love some George Michael. Coach Corlin says, I think Mayor Stafford, since Allen's whole team fell off, but JPJ better get defensive, probably rookie of the year or player of the year. He's really, I'm telling you, man, just to see him and his motor still move when they were talking about how Raheem was talking about people that don't want to play and don't want to be there. Yeah, James Pierce is not one of them. James Pierce is out to prove something. And I am on board. David Stark says Matthew Stafford is MVP. Can't go wrong with that. I knew the Rams would be better. I didn't think the Rams were going to be this good. Number 1 seed in NFC. I didn't see that coming. And also, I didn't see Philly kind of falling off either. David says, unexpected team making a playoff run, San Francisco. Hear me out. With all those injuries to pivotal players, they are firmly in control of the 7th seed. Was unexpected. And again, you're talking about coaching. Even when we played San Francisco, their not whole, but most of their defense was decimated. They had second stringers coming in there beating us. So I agree with you. And currently, for the record, they are the 6th seed. Chicago is the 7th seed right now. And both of them are 9-4. I guess it's a tiebreaker that Frisco has over them. Lisa says TLC Sleigh Ride. Yeah, I do like that Sleigh Ride. There's something about T-Boz's voice when you hear her start off. T-Boz might have one of the most, when it's all said and done, a few years from now, we're going to be like, oh, man, she had one of the smoothest voices on a lot of record. I was just listening to Digging on You, Digging on Me, Digging on. I used to love that song, and I was dealing with I love that, man. Love that. I see a couple of super chats in here, and I apologize. I missed a couple of Juan Solo in the house. What's going on, man? He said the worst scenario for all moves we have made happen, man. I'm sorry about that, brother Juan. I appreciate you. My brother Lamont is in the house, man. Says somewhat like the early years, but not as bad. Fellas, y'all are awesome. I appreciate you. Abel is in the house. What's going on, Abel? Thank you, brother, for the super chat. Turns out Mike Smith will be the best hire Blank McKay has done. P.S. Mariah, better watch out. You're about to have the Christmas song of the year. I tried my best, man. For all y'all, I appreciate it. I'm gonna run that back one more time for all three of y'all. Thank you for the super chat, man. We appreciate it. Last season, we gave you a heart, but the very next year, the team disappeared. This year, to save us from tears, it's time to make some changes. Yeah. Last season, we gave you a heart, but the very next year, the team disappeared. This year, to save us from tears, it's time to make some changes. Oh, fellas, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I promise you, I'm gonna have some more classics redone Uncle Steve style next time we come on. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. David says also Christmas in Hollis from Run DNC. Now that was the original hip hop song, but I'm gonna tell you what. I heard Quad Cities when I pulled up my playlist. Quad Cities Christmas, that whole album, but the This Christmas CD changes collard greens and chicken wings, baby. I used that what they did with that remix. That's got me right there. Now I know there's some other ones, but that got me. Lisa says Outcast Players Ball. Got you. Georgia, Texas boy said, oh yeah, that good old Arthur Smith treatment at 11:59. Bye-bye. Raheem, thank you for services. Hey, look, I don't even think it's gonna be that late. I think right now they are probably, because at this point, and something he said in his press conference is irrelevant right now. Right now, you have 4 games for free agents, for everybody else to see if you have quit or not, for malcontents. Like, I'm assuming there are a couple on the team for him to say a speech like that, or for him to say that in the locker room today. And then for the rookies and second-year players, that's got to be here next year. Because guess what? They want to be on the team. They want to start. They want to let everybody know, hey, I'm still out here. So yeah, I think you might see that email. That game will probably be a 1:00 game. The New Orleans. Yeah, we'll know. He'll probably let the Monday night game. The Sunday night game in, and then get up out of there. Monte Carlo says, I've been missing my notification. Man, dude, I like I said, I don't know what's going on with that, and I apologize. I haven't done anything different to the channel. Maybe I need to check and see what's going on. I'm sorry about that, brother. Juan Solo says, Silent Night covered by the Temptations. Okay. I was thinking about doing that. I think I might have to, if I could get Big Low to help me out with that and sing the very, 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 very background. That might be good. Pamela Johnson in the house. How you doing, Pamela? Say hello, Uncle Steve, and everyone in the chat. How are you, ma'am? Hope you're having a great day here on this chilly Monday evening here in the GA. Sister alert today. What's going on, sis? MVP, son, Bills D with those back-to-back interceptions. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just when Joe Burrow thought he was going to pull his Joe Cool act. Christmas songs, Last Christmas, Jackson 5, last 60 seconds of We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Oh, come on now. Merry. Yeah, I know it's stuff about. And for you, Steve, little Twinkle Twinkle Little Me. I can't listen. Hey, first of all, that's one of the best Christmas albums of all time. Someday at Christmas by Stevie Wonder. The album. I know I mentioned the song earlier. Listen to Twinkle Twinkle Little Me. I think she used to be inspired when she heard that song. So, yeah. Now she know that was one of my favorites. I love it. Oh boy. Lisa said, not the last Christmas remix. Well, Dusty, thank you, ma'am. Hey, look, we gotta have some fun. Like I told you, by the time we come next time, I'll have about 4 or 5 other ones. That was just on my mind. We'll figure it out. Georgia Texas boy said Patriots, Bears are all there on their third head coach with their current GM. Why not Terry? Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if Terry survives this or not. And I can't be mad if he doesn't, but he does have a little bit of cachet to stay. The only thing, now, I don't know how much he had to do with the Kirk Cousins deal. The Kirk Cousins situation has to be put under a microscope because though we're going to be able to get out of it with a minimal hit next year, that was still something that possibly could have stunted us for a year or two. You don't know whether it would have been Michael Penix or anybody else, but the amount of money we threw at Kirk Cousins to basically, I mean, we haven't even got 16 full games out of him yet. And we paid him $100 million over the last 2 years. So from that standpoint, I don't know. But I hear you. Monte Carlo said Tomlin locked in at least to the end of 26, but there is an opt-out. There was, I want to say it was Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter. That was brought up that he is under contract till 26, but there is an opt-out on his contract after this season. So that, even though he's locked in, you're absolutely correct. There is an opt-out on that contract. So you're right, but he still can be bought out. Not bought out, can opt out. Ron Smith said, get Big Low to streak across the field so they can get some excitement in the building. Let me tell you something. If Big Low goes streaking across the field, that will absolutely probably burn down the internet. I just like get his overalls. I don't even know how that even came in my mind. Oh boy. Pamela says, I told my son, who is a Carolina fan, that the Panthers will win the division. And, they're in good shape right now. Now, they still have, I think they have, let me see what Carolina's schedule is, Pamela. They have to play. Shoot. I'm sorry. The Panthers, their last few games, they play the Saints, the Bucks twice, and the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they actually play in Carolina. So, look, they're 7-6. So who knows? And I don't know which Tampa Bay team they're going to play. Are they going to play the Tampa Bay team that lost to New Orleans yesterday? Are they going to take the Tampa Bay team who was hitting on everything early? She also says, this Christmas, Donna Hathaway, always a favorite. Always. That's in line and to me better than the Mariah Carey song. It's always a song that I always hold in high regard when you start talking about Christmas classics. Dirty Bird says, hey, Big Low, say your voice may be a little off today because you've been trying to hit them high notes. Well, Low be jealous, man. He always jealous of the boy. Low be using that auto tune too. So, all right. Dre says, I can picture you recording that song, singing and doing the old school move where you reach out an open hand and dramatically bring back a close face. Let me tell you something. You ain't seen theatrical singing until you see your break down a Christmas song. I'm just telling you right now. David said, what are we going to do about the quarterback position? My brother, I have no idea. I mean, that's for another probably coach or regime to figure out, but I have no idea. And I don't even have any thoughts right now because I know it's not going to be Easton Stick. It's probably not going to be Kirk Cousins. You know, is Mr. Miyagi going to come in and slap his hands and put his hands on Michael Penix's knee and make it better? I don't know. And possibly return early? I doubt it, but I don't know. That's a question once we get the new regime in for them to make. The aforementioned Big Low Country Sports in the house, man. See, I talk him up and then he shows up. He said, man, Unc, I thought you were resting your voice. Listen, I was, but see, this is the problem. I have to talk to Low today, and we had to chop it up. And so once we start talking, I said, and my voice, trust me, my voice is still not the greatest, but I guess I had to let some stuff out because you start hearing, you start hearing everybody else talk about it. And I know I follow one of the greatest podcasters in Big Low, so it's hard to follow him. So I have to wait a whole day to make sure. So I got my drink here, trying to coat my voice a little bit, and then we're gonna move. That's what's going on, man. But yeah, voice is still hurt, brother. Still hurt. ATL Skateman says, I can't wait for the Uncle Steve solo. I like that. That's ATL Skateman, like, he can't read. And said, the coaches corner said, oh, and everyone wish Uncle his beautiful queen. Congratulations on getting married twice. Absolutely. Congratulations, you and young auntie, old man. Look, man, it's so funny. I forgot who that was. They saw the video and everything. And they talking about, man, dude, how young is your wife? Which God blessed me with a beautiful, beautiful wife. So I'm glad that everyone is thinking that. Thank you. And I'm sure she thanks you. And my buddy, he's like, man, dude, you on the playground. I know. Right. Horrible. Alan Mike in the house. What's going on, man? He's saying, hi, Unc. We stink. Why is Morris still employed? I as I told everybody before, man, I think it's just a matter. It's not the fact that this organization is at a point where I don't know whether it looks good to get rid of him or not. Now, as opposed to when you could have done some stuff earlier. As me and Lo were talking earlier about earlier this year of possibly firing him after Miami. Because I think that was one of the games. I think Carolina was a little too early. That was game 3. That was a little too early for that. Every team has a clunker, just about. I'm looking down the line. Every team just about has that. Buffalo's had a clunker. The Chargers had a clunker. Pittsburgh's had a couple of clunkers. Jacksonville, the Rams, Tampa Bay just had one last week. So everybody has one. So game 3, no. Game, what was that? Miami 6? When you should have at least had a bounce back game for Miami. And you go lose that game, that's ridiculous. But that being said, no, have patience, Mike. It's coming. Like I said, would you take a flyer on Murray if they cut him? I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be there next year, but that's a tough one, man. I'm not sure. That's a tough one. If he came with the right price, maybe. But I don't know if I can pay Kyler Murray more than $20 million, knowing that Michael Penix is on the mend and you still got him. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I don't think so. I don't know. Lowe says, did you hear the reports that Raheem said that Arthur Blank has the most faith in him? Is Raheem just trying to pay? Let me tell you something. This is the other thing right here. If y'all think for 1 minute that everything Raheem is saying is accurate, then let me sell you some of that beachfront property in Idaho. At this point, Raheem has to kind of, let me see, what's the word I'm saying? I don't want to say straight out lie, but he has to paint a different picture. For example, they asked him today about him talking in the meeting and would he like to share what he said. He said, no, I get it. I don't know what reporters want. Do you think he wants to tell them, have y'all given up on me? That's basically what he probably did yesterday. He's probably telling them, like, look, I don't care how bad we're doing. We still got 4 games to go. We still got a job to do. And we got a game in 3 days. So if y'all feeling funky, get on out. Now, if you say something like that, the fact that you would have to say something like that in the meeting, you wouldn't be talking to one person. That means more than one person thinks that way. You see what I'm saying? If there was one person, possibly 2, that might be the antagonist in the locker room, you could pull them aside and deal with that. But if you have to have that speech in front of your whole team, that means there are several, or as I like to say, a plethora of people or players that you're addressing. That's not good. So as I see your question now here, Mike, do you feel he has lost the team? I do feel like he has lost several people on that team. You don't make that declaration if you have control of most of the team, including your leaders. Because most of the time, the leaders probably stand up and say that. It doesn't even have to come to a coach. But I understand getting beat down like you did yesterday. What can you do? So the players who are there right now, the players who have to stay, those are probably the players more likely that are like, hey, man, I'm here anyway, so I might as well stick with it. Now, the Moonies, who, they're under contract, but you know how that goes. They cut him probably quick. I don't think Mooney is going to be here. It's obvious that his heart isn't in it. I'm not going to say Kyle is a malcontent, but I am saying that I'm not sure he's going to be here. I don't know what happened to any of the, about the defense. I don't know. But I really do feel like something has happened. What does this lead back to the Ike Hilliard thing? I don't know. I find it hard to believe that a receiver coach would have that much pull over the whole team. He might have affected the receiver room, but that was a receiver room that was already devoid of talent, of big talent. And I said that coming into the year. I did believe that. And that unfortunately reared its ugly head as we were hoping that the Casey Washingtons of the world and the Chris Blairs of the world, are going to be all in. So it's one of those feelings that I have about when is the right time to get rid of your coach. You're a 4-9 team. You completely underachieved. You just got embarrassed at the home. This is probably the second embarrassing loss at the stadium this year. Somebody brought up a point yesterday. They said the Georgia Bulldogs have won 2 games over the last 2 weeks. The Falcons have only won 2 times this year. That's crazy. So at some point, Arthur Blank's going to probably sit down with Arthur and said, "Hey, look, man, you gotta, you can't stay here, Raheem. I'm sorry. Appreciate you what you done. Thank you for your service, but you got to get up out of here." Michael says, "Do you have an update on Walker's injury?" No, they said in the press conference he had a bruise, and he's acting like he's going to still play. That was in the press conference, but Raheem also said we were going to win games this year, so I don't know. My buddy Jermaine said, "What's up, Jermaine? How you doing, man?" Me and Jermaine chopped it up this past week. We're talking about the Commanders and things of that nature. And he was throwing out some stuff about my Falcons, and we were talking and chatting up, man. Great to see you in the chat, brother. We still in here for the next couple of minutes, my friend. You can feel free to throw your comments in there. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Again, as you all are coming in, if you haven't, please hit the like button on me, and you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate that. Yeah, Kenneth Davis, what's going on? He said, "Hey, Unc, happy holidays, a happy family. Have a happy family." I mean, I don't know what you mean. I have a happy family. Hopefully have a happy holiday. I'm sure that's what you meant, Kenneth. He said, "Just a little question. If you had to choose between I Love Desmond and Geno Smith, who would you choose?" I don't fully cash all in on Geno. That's a very good question. At this juncture, I would probably choose Geno because I know Geno's not going to be on the Raiders next year for the amount of money that they just paid him, even though all of his contract isn't guaranteed. So I'm not sure if they're going to have him. They're going to have a pretty matter of fact, let me see what their draft picks looking like. They're not going to stick with Geno. If they are sticking with Geno, it's only to get to the next quarterback. Right now, the Raiders they have the number 2 pick. The Giants have their quarterback. Giants have the number 1 pick. So Vegas is probably gonna have their pick of the litter. So who do you go with? Do you go with Mendoza from Indiana? Are you gonna spin the wheels on Lenore Sellers? I don't know. My brother from Oregon, Dante Dante Moore. I don't know. There's plenty to choose from, but I think the Raiders are going to move on from him. So yes, to answer the question, I do feel like we would give Geno a shot before we bring my brother Desmond back in here. Lisa said he said last week that he was confident in the special teams, only to have the special teams give up a touchdown on a kickoff return. Nasty work. And Lisa, the fact that he kind of doubled down on that, to me, I think it would have been easier just to say, yeah, we kind of screwed that up. We would have screwed that up. I just got an alert too from ESPN. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Heisman finalists are Fernando Mendoza, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, and Julian Sang, the Ohio State guy. So those of you thought that some of the local folks thought maybe Haynes King would have got a look. I think if Haynes would have won either against Georgia or gotten to the ACC championship game, I think we would have looked at him. He's definitely one of the better players in the NFL. And he would probably be a nice little backup, if you ask me, on there. Michael says, it seems to me you're not allowed to speak your mind on this team or they will get rid of you. Well, I want to be careful with that because it's not about speaking your mind sometimes, Mike. Sometimes it might just be about the right time and place. Now, Raheem is still the coach. So, as a lot of people are speculating, I don't know about this, him and Ike probably did not have a really good conversation about things. And if you're the head coach, sometimes you have to make a decision to say, is this something that's going to be distracting or is this something that's going to cause my team to splinter? Then you have to make that choice to get rid of him. I don't blame Raheem for that. I don't even believe it's about speaking your mind, but I think there's a right place and time to do it. I don't know what happened, so it's kind of hard. But I don't know. I'm seeing you on the second one say, what happened to Hodge? Why would he be a healthy scratch? He must have spoken up. And again, he might have, but as head coach, I don't know what he said. Did he say the magic word, which is the wrong word? I don't know. But as the head coach, you can't have anybody challenging. So again, I don't know if he did, but you can't. Jermaine says, I guess Raheem really is a horrible hire after all. I feel totally betrayed. Atlanta feels betrayed by him. Absolutely. I mean, he sold us magic beans. 8 years with no playoffs. When will the Falcons ever learn to clean up this toxic culture? It's hopefully, look, it's not like they haven't tried. Listen, they hit on Dan Quinn for a year or two. Dan Quinn gave us 3 non-losing seasons at the beginning and then kind of ended in a bad place. I can't say he was a bad hire. They hired Jim Mora. He gave us a playoff year. They hired Mike Smith, the best, and I'm talking about Arthur Smith hires. And he gave us the best tenure that we had. But lately, when you start talking about the last 8 years, I think it's maybe a matter of you can't do business like you did in the early 2000s. Maybe that has passed. Maybe you need to stop going to that search committee. Maybe you need to go somewhere else and start looking at a new way to find the head coach. Because that search committee ain't working. It ain't worked with Arthur. It didn't Arthur Smith. It didn't work with Raheem. So maybe try something new, man. Maybe see if Terry Fontenot does have an idea. Maybe see. I don't know if Terry's going to survive this either. Big Low says it's best to just wait until the end of the season to move on from Raheem. And I like I said, I don't disagree with that. At this point, I don't disagree with that. Bigelow also says Mendoza is winning that all day. They might as well mail him the trophy. Yeah, Indiana winning the Big Ten. I don't think anybody thought that. I thought people probably said, oh, that was a nice year Indiana had last year. For them to come back, go undefeated, and beat up on Ohio State. That was great. Brother Lamont in the house. I see you too. I'm right here, Lamont. I appreciate you, brother. He said 66 through 73, no playoffs, 2 winning seasons, and a 500 record. Yeah, I know, right? And then turns around and says, just to get some perspective. Unfortunately, it feels similar to these days. It does feel similar to that. It feels similar to the old days, man. It really does. And thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, I appreciate you.
Woo-hoo! Super chat. What's up? Super chat. Come on, chat with Uncle Steve. Super chat. What's up? Super chat. I came in with my back in my head. With the groove, what the Falcons do. He got them going. Let's go. Ha!
I wonder if Mystical had a Christmas song.
Man, Christmas. Ha! Ha! Take. Hold the Christmas.
Oh, it just went through my mind right there. I think I'm gonna have to do that. Gonna have a mystical Christmas. I know that's. I don't know if No Limit's gonna let him do that. Where he is right now, because he's still in jail, right? Isn't he? I guess. Oh man. Mike says, right here you can still go sell cars in his Caprice. Y'all gonna get on that man's Caprice. Oh boy. Lisa says, is Atlanta an attractive place for a top tier veteran head coach? I'm wondering who wants to come here, and that will be available in 26. You know, and that's the one thing, Lisa. I will say this. I do feel like Atlanta, as constructed right now, this team, as the roster is right now, is an attractive team. I do wonder, however, if people are coaches, the Mike McCarthy's, the Mike Tomlins, I'm just throwing names out there that people have talked about. Are they people that would say, what is going on over there that Arthur Blank can't get those guys, to this winning plateau again? It's not like, if we go back from 2017, but we can't erase 2018 through now. But if we stop the clock at 2017, Arthur Blank had a pretty good run. If you're really being honest. I mean, you talk about the first year, the Dan Reeves had Mike Vick for one. The Jim Mora gave him one. And I think we had a 500 season. One 500 season, I think. Mike Smith, of course, gave us 5 winning seasons. Dan Quinn followed up with a 500 season and 2 playoff years and a Super Bowl berth. So it's not like Arthur Blank doesn't know or didn't know how to win. But maybe whatever's going on the last 8 years, you can't just rinse and repeat. I don't know if that's a Rich McKay thing. I know everybody keeps saying that. I don't know if it is or not. But I think if you take that out of the equation, Lisa, the last, I think Atlanta is going to be a place if you're a head coach and you're looking and you're saying, man, Bijan Robinson is still there. Drake London is my number 1 receiver. The defense is young, and they've given results this year. The defense, the linebackers need some depth, but most of my D-line is young. My star edge rushers are young. A.J. Terrell is solid over on one side. Yeah, I'm going to have to work on getting somebody who can kick a ball through the upright. I don't blame that block totally on Zane yesterday, too. Zane's done a pretty decent job this year. But, yeah, I think it would be attractive to a head coach coming in. Now, they might have to talk to Arthur Blank about certain restraints they may have. Some people might, and a lot of head coaches, you start thinking people like McCarthy might want to do things his own way. He said, yeah, I'm going to respect whatever general manager comes in here, but I want to make some decisions on that. So, yeah, I do think it's an attractive place, if you ask me. Jermaine says, I think this whole Atlanta franchise is being too soft, and this has been going on for too long. time to beef up and get aggressive. I want this city to start winning again, start with a winning coach. That's true. We do need a winning coach. We do need a winning coach. I can agree. Mike Tomlin, if you are disgruntled, I am here for you, brother. Antonio, what's going on, brother? He said, what's up, Unc? He said, all I can say is enjoy your Georgia Bulldogs. They are complete opposite of what the Falcons in nearly every way. Now, again, it's a perfect example of what you just said. Kirby Smart is right now the best coach in college football. Kirby Smart has Gunnar Stockton leading this team to wins. And I'm not saying Gunnar Stockton is like putrid, but I am saying when a lot of us at the beginning of the year saying that guy who earlier this year looked like trash in the early part of the season when we lost the game to Notre Dame, that guy, a year later, yes, that guy. And Gunner's put up some pretty good numbers, too. I'm not saying he should have been a finalist for the Heisman, but say what you want to say. He's done his job. But I think that's because the team has embraced Kirby Smart's energy. Kirby Smart is, for right now, for my money, Kirby Smart is the best coach in college football right now, especially since Nick Saban retired. No doubt, hands down. Don't come to me about Lane Kiffin, Ryan Day, or anybody like that. Kirby Smart is right now on top. And that's the type of coach we need right now. Somebody who's done it before, somebody who has a history of winning. That's why I think it would be foolish for them not to be talking to Mike McCarthy right now while he doesn't have a job. And to ask him, hey, man, are you interested? And I'm not saying McCarthy is the cat's meow, but he has a couple of things that we don't have. A lot of winning records and a Super Bowl title. And he won in Green Bay, and he took Dallas to the playoffs. Beggars can't be choosy. Georgia Texas boy say Colts are bringing in Phillip Rivers for a workout. I probably don't blame him. Does that mean that? Are you joking? If you're joking, oh man. Oh no, he's not joking. I'm looking on my thing. Says the Colts will work out Phillip Rivers on Tuesday. Wow, that's deep. I wonder, does that mean he has to delay his Hall of Fame thing because he made the semifinalist thing? Lamont said, sound like a James Brown Christmas song. True. Imagine him teaming up with James Brown. Mystical and James Brown together. That would be interesting. Dwayne Green, what's going on? Dwayne said, what's up, Uncle Steve? I'm at a loss for words. I'm concerned with what's going to happen after the season. We don't know who's coming back and what will our quarterback situation be. One thing I know for sure, Raheem must go, and I have never called for anyone's job. These last 5 seasons I have. Happy holidays. And Dwayne is kind of on the same thing where I am. I have never outright just rooted for somebody to get fired. So I don't want that misconstrued at all. I have never said I am so happy for a man to lose his job or woman to lose their job. I don't do that part. However, when you're not performing for a high-level job or a high-level expectation to, whether you're investing real money into tickets like yours truly, whether you're investing emotionally over the years, like I know a lot of my friends do every week. If you're not getting the job done, you got to be held accountable. And for that, I don't apologize for saying, yeah, he should go. But I'm not like tooting the horn like that. Mike says Falcons did way better with Dimitrov. Don't know how to spell his name. That makes two of us, but I know. Yeah, Dimitrov gets a raw deal. A lot of people, they thought Dimitrov. The only thing Dimitrov was guilty of was giving those high contracts. I heard somebody recently, and probably it's just because the Falcons were, when we start losing, they start talking about every single thing back to 1966. Well, it all started when they traded to Cleveland to get Julio Jones. I was like, well, duh. One of the best players in franchise history, arguably, could be the best. And you're complaining about that? Dimitrov's Achilles was he wasn't the greatest drafter in the world, but he did construct some pretty good rosters, especially at the beginning of his tenure. For golf says, I want row one tickets like Uncle Steve. That's like and share and subscribe. Hey man. Yeah, away games, yeah, home games. I don't know if I want to spend that money on those. Oh man, my brother Kerry is in the house. What's going on, man? Panthers fan in the house. He said, why would a coach want to come here and the fans want him fired in less than 2 years? Okay, so here's the problem. And again, Kerry is a Panthers fan, so I'm gonna. It's not. Kerry, I think the hire for Raheem was in a different place than Arthur Smith. When Arthur Smith got this team in 2021, you could argue it was at one of the most critical times in Falcons history. We were getting ready to get rid of Matt Ryan. We were trying to get that last year in so he could move on. And we had all this money locked in. There was nothing to the roster that we were going to have in 2022 and 23. So we kind of set him up for failure, in my opinion. So I would give him 3 years. I'll give Arthur Smith the 3 years. We didn't help Arthur Smith a lot. I can say that in retrospect. We did not give him a great roster. The last roster he had in 2023, I thought he could have done a little bit better with, but I'm not going to throw him totally under the bus. Raheem came with a much better situation, and especially in 2025. In 2024, they went out and got a $100 million quarterback in Kirk Cousins. They drafted the future, which a lot of people disagree with, but at least they drafted the future. And they made moves to kind of solidify certain parts on the team. Now, halfway into last year, nobody was complaining. But now the stench of Raheem as a head coach to not to be able to pivot when things go bad, I think that's grounds for losing your job. And I understand that there is something to be said about you can't expect to change everything in 2 years. But come on, man. Coming into this year in 2025, and especially seeing this defense doing the things that they've done, and if anything, Raheem might be guilty of being stubborn. Because I do think, just like he was quick to get rid of Jimmy Lake when he realized that was going left, his dedication to Zach Robinson for some reason is going to cost him his job. Because obviously he isn't competent enough to take one of the best players in the. Let me tell y'all something. If Bijan goes to another team, you will see him you will see him be an MVP. Because the right offensive coordinator will make Bijan very, very good. Even better than he is now. So I see your point, but at the same time, I do feel like Raheem was in a much better situation. And right now, Kerry, after hearing today that Dave Archer, the analyst, the color analyst for the Atlanta Falcons radio, said that he overheard the talk in the locker room where he was asking guys, hey, if y'all don't want to be here, don't show up tomorrow, meaning today. If you have to give that speech to a team at any time during the year, that means you've lost 25% of your team. Because if it was 1 or 2, you pull them to the side. So that's my deal on that. But I understand not giving him the chance. But I think he was set up much better. Jermaine says the Atlanta United won in 2018, Braves and Dogs in 2021. Why can't the Falcons follow their other team's achievements after all this years? Man, if I had that, I would probably be a rich person in Vegas. No doubt. If only there's a way we could bring Kirby Smart to coach both the Dogs and the Falcons. They'll both be winning teams if that happens. Hey, Kirby, let me tell you something. Kirby ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, I think Kirby might be closer to winning a 3rd national championship this year. 4-4. Oh, okay. It's me, Jack Spade, getting my golf page together. Okay, so I got it. I got you, brother. I got you. Y'all make sure y'all check Jack Spade out on One Time for the Fan. He was on earlier today, him and T-Wheel doing their thing. A lot of the Atlanta Falcons content creators, we're scratching our heads. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Those guys do a great job. Make sure y'all like and subscribe over there at One Time for the Fan. They do a great job of getting the pulse of the Atlanta fan. I try to follow in their footsteps of the great job they do over there. John Kim says, you can't win with the Bijan Robinson, Drake London, James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, A.J. Terrell. We have no receivers, no cornerbacks. Offensive line is trash, and we have no depth. Terry Fontenot must be fired. I'm assuming you were being sarcastic when you say you can't win with Bijan, Drake, James Pierce, Jalen Walker, A.J. Terrell. I get that. We have no receivers. I agree. No cornerbacks. Disagree. We got a cornerback. We just need somebody on the other side. Offensive line is trash. I'm not sure that's entirely true. I think our offensive line is good. If you think about yesterday, Kirk Cousins really didn't get – did he get sacked twice? Did he get sacked twice yesterday? Now, I'm not saying that teams don't put pressure on them and stuff like that, but I still take our offensive line over a lot out there. And that's not trying to take up for all of them all year. There have been bad times at times, but I still think our offensive line, even with some of the substitutions we put in there, I think they've been okay. If they weren't, Bijan Robinson would be over 1,000 yards rushing. So and Tyler Algier wouldn't be getting the yards he's getting. And Michael Penix didn't get sacked a whole lot as well during the year. So I kind of disagree with that. But I hear you. Terry Fontenot must be fired. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't feel it would be unjustified if he did get fired. So, hey. Mike says Rivers has 10 kids. I guess he needs the money. Yeah, that's true. Raymond Collins in the house. He said, what's up, Unc? What we got going on? Sure, it ain't no kind of swag. No, not at all. Michael said, Unc, don't you feel Dimitrov had to do what Blank told him? He wanted Ryan and Jones Falcons for life. Yeah, and that's a good point. If he, yeah, that's a very good point. I'm sure, and Arthur Blank kept saying it publicly, but he had a mea culpa when he had his little Zoom in 2021 when they brought in Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, where he said he may have been wrong for saying that, and keep, there are creative ways you could have financially kept Matt, especially near the end. And not to say, let's not act like Matt Ryan had 4 years left when he was at the end. I think we just got rid of him maybe 1 year too late. But it's not like Matt was lighting it up at the very end. Robin, what's going on? How you doing now? Good to see you in the house. Thank y'all again for joining us here on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Please hit that like button for me if you don't mind. Jack says you can say 404 golf, but in the golf world we say four. Oh, a little etiquette there from Jack. Carrie says too much good talent for 4 wins. Period. Absolutely, I agree with that. As you heard the list being run down of the people that we have on our team right now is just it just hurts to know that we can't do any better. And listen, and I keep going back to what you guys are doing up there in Charlotte. Uh, you got to give them credit. They were about to throw Bryce Young out of North Carolina here probably earlier this year, and now you turn around and they're on the verge of possibly making the playoffs for the first time since 2017. So, what are we doing that you all aren't doing? I don't know. But we do have too much talent. Antoine said, what do you think about Gunnar Stockton 4th round for the Falcons? Well, one of Gunnar Stockton is coming back next year. He'll probably make more Neal money now that he's being successful at Georgia, but I probably wouldn't take him. It would be interesting to see if Haynes King would, and not for starting quarterback. It would be interesting to see what he would do at the next level. I don't think he's the greatest passer in the world, but he's kind of a tough guy. And I kind of like that. I don't think we have any that's kind of what you want your backup to be in a way. There are gonna be some quarterbacks that you could probably have in the 2nd or 3rd round. But this isn't a strong quarterback draft, if you ask me. Might have been one of the weaker since whatever year it was that Desmond came out. What was that, 22? I think this is not great. The only one that really lights me up as far as he could be pretty good is Mendoza and maybe my guy from Oregon. Other than that, I know the stock went down on Lenora Sellers. If he was available, but he's super raw. I thought he was going to step up a lot. So, Jack says respectfully, Penix is not the future. I still tend to disagree with that. I know people. I'm not saying you. I know there are people that were probably waiting for him to get hurt so they can run to he's hurt, he's injured. I think he's one of those people that if we give him time and he's gonna be fine. I think he is, and we probably won't find out in 26. But I still like the young man. I like the man. I like what he did when he was in there. I think we were kind of tough on him. I think we were kind of tough on him as fans early on. I don't think you put him under the same microscope as Mr. Ritter, but to each his own. I think Penix will be fine. I know by the time he gets to his full season, I think that'll be his last year before an option. He's still cheap right now, so I wouldn't quite give up on him though. But I think Penix still has a chance to be the future. Coolest Dre says, I wonder if he thinks he should still be here. You're talking about Raheem? Make sure. Monte Carlo says, the fact that we lost 51 and were close for years makes the ache of losing 10 times amplified. If we had a chip, fans' reaction would be drastically different. It's a gnawing pain. I agree with that. That makes sense. Well said. Antonio says, who do you like as a backup quarterback in 26? Ooh, that's a good question. And as I'm talking about young quarterbacks coming in, you got to have a veteran quarterback not named Kirk Cousins on the team because You already have one quarterback that's hurt, that's young. I'm not sure you want to be in there kind of teaching youthful quarterbacks unless you just have a out of this world OC. Now the right OC could make it work. It's funny. I again for the Kyle Shanahan bashers, say what you want. Kyle Shanahan can turn 7th-round picks, Mr. Irrelevant, into Super Bowl quarterbacks. Kenan Davis says James Brown in the house, not mystical, Uncle Brown. But we need a darn good special teams coach. We have one. We have on the past relied on our special teams with Vic and Ryan. Yeah, we had Keith Armstrong for a long time holding it down. I think he was really good at what he was doing. Jermaine says, because of many losses, I started to think the Benz was just as cursed as the Georgia Dome. Yeah, a lot of people say that. A lot of folks say that for sure. Mike says, what position would be your first draft pick for us? Woo! Mike, and the only reason, and it's not about trying to avoid the question, I need to see what happens with the roster. I would love for us to get another wide receiver, but I think the more important position is probably that second cornerback. Really get somebody that could be over there with AJ on the other side of AJ, and then we get some type of lockdown back there in the secondary. I would really like to see that. That's as of December 8th, this moment. I'll reserve the right to change my mind on that. Dwayne says, I would try to get Stetson Bennett for competition. I think a lot of people have been whispering about that. You know, we have a good relationship with the Rams, so who knows? Jermaine says, by the next NFL draft, Atlanta must get a sharp-eyed quarterback, an aggressive offense, and pretty much everything else that could make the Falcons more of a contender for future Super Bowls. No more trash. And also making sure that we get a coach that can coach all of that. The players are one thing. I still think we have the players. I just think we need the right coach. John Kemp says the defense gave up 37 points yesterday, 27 to the Jets, 30 to the Panthers, 31 to the Colts. We lost those games, although we are better at sacking the quarterback. Defense gives up too many points. John, here's where I really gonna have to kind of. I'm not criticizing the tape because you're right. You can't give up that many points. But if your defense, and in each of those games that you say, you got to look at the pattern. If we were giving up 3 straight drives where it's 21 zip, whereas 20 to zip, 24 zip at halftime, those situations, then you would have a good point. I think this defense goes as the offense goes. If the defense, which they held that Seattle team to 6 points at halftime, and you turn around and your offense is not scoring touchdowns, I think that's something that you have to put into the equation. There's only so much time that you can keep a defense out there time after time. And the perfect example, yesterday. Perfect example. You're 6-6 at halftime. You give up, the special teams gives up the special teams touchdown. The Falcons offense goes down into the almost the red zone and fumbles the ball. So now you're sending the defense out there and you're telling them, hey, even though y'all have held them to no touchdowns, we need y'all to step up even more because we can't score. So every game you're going to have to hold a team to 10 points. That's not realistic. If you can hold most teams to right at 20 points and your offense balances out, I think that's what you're looking for in this defense. I don't think the defense. I know the numbers. I know what it looks like when you giving up those turnovers. And I don't even blame Kurt to a certain extent. A couple of those calls were stupid calls. Why are you throwing a screen pass at that point? Seattle is 10 off on him. So I'm going to defend the defense a little bit on that. No 37 points. The defense actually didn't give up 37 points. The defense gave up some bad plays at the end, but yeah, they gave up 2 field goals in the first half. Special teams, you can't blame on that. You gave them the ball inside the red zone on a couple of the plays, the turnovers. I don't know. Georgia, yeah, and that's the combination of the offense not sustaining drives. There you go. That's perfect. I didn't even read your thing until then, but I guess in a nutshell, I could have said that. But yes, exactly what he said. Robin says, "Hey, this offense would be nasty if Shanahan or Arthur Smith had this offense." And I told people that. I don't have a problem with saying Arthur Smith would work wonders with this offense if with being able to balance off what the defense is doing now. I think he would. Antonio says Jameis Winston or Deshaun Watson both will probably be available. Here's the problem. Deshaun Watson's contract is still fully guaranteed. So Deshaun is not getting cut because Cleveland is not going to just pay him $40-some million to now, unless they trade him and agree to matter of fact, let's take a quick look at it while we got a chance. I don't think Cleveland is just gonna 100% give him away. No, I'm sorry, cut him and take that big hit like that. Wow, that's coming up on the computer. I'm gonna go to the next one. Mike says no other team other than us was beating down Raheem's door. I wonder why. I listen. Arthur Blank has the right to hire whoever he wants to hire. If he felt comfortable because Raheem was here before and Raheem was a good guy to him and whatever, that's that man's prerogative. It was a wrong call. At the time, I didn't have a yay or nay about it. But I guarantee you Raheem is somebody who probably can knock out the interview. No doubt. Probably knocked him off his socks in the interview and said what he was going to do. And Arthur said, okay, let's give it a shot. And that's even more reason why I think he's going to be gone early, because I do think he kind of took a chance, in my opinion. Cool as Dre says, uninjured players not playing in the preseason. End of story. Yeah, I think, whoever's coming in here with next philosophy might be different. That's for sure. I don't think everybody subscribes to that, but yes, I think that definitely is something where you start thinking about. Hold on, I'm trying to pull this up real quick, y'all. NFL. Trying to see Deshaun Watson's situation. Here we go. Cleveland Browns. And Deshaun Watson had played one down, and I think Deshaun's I want to say insurance paid his stuff last year. Here we go. Deshaun Watson. Okay, so his contract situation, he makes $47 million. That's his base salary. So let's pull that up real quick. All right, there we go. Okay, so Deshaun, take you off right quick, Dre. So for those of you who want to look at the Deshaun Watson situation, here's the problem. You see that? See this right here? That's his base salary. So they can restructure it to where they'll get $25 million and then they can possibly trade it. And then we would probably pick up the rest. But I'm not even sure you would pay $20 million for Deshaun. Remember the last Deshaun was playing in 22 or 23? He didn't look good. He didn't look that good. So I'm not sure if I would run to that. But more importantly, I'm not spending that much money. Could he be a possible bridge? Yes. But that would be it. Hey, Joe is in the house. What's going on, brother? He said, what's happening, Steve? How come my DBs, especially AJ Terrell, can't get a chuck off the line to disrupt the timing? That's true. Instead of letting the receiver go where he wants to, he's chasing to catch up. And AJ was chasing yesterday. That's for sure. And you see a lot of the really good cornerbacks get that big chuck. You see the good ones. Before he started going down, the dude from New Orleans used to do that all the time. Man, Marshawn, you do see that. That's a good point. I'll say this. I still like AJ on the other side. I still think you can do worse than AJ. That's for sure. Raymond says, I've been saying on a few years to get Jameis Winston. Don't like him, but he's been a good player just to have, just in case. I think at this point, Jameis is kind of a little bit of a clown. I get it. I don't like. Yeah, I mean, the little goofy rah-rah act. It's all good until he starts throwing them interceptions. And then once he's doing that, then we say, what is he here for? I agree with you. I think Jameis still may be able to give you a year or two, but nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. In my opinion, it'll be my luck we get him next year too. Watch. He probably owes us though. I never forgot that little touchdown they gave the Saints the other year, that last game of the year in 23. Anyway, listen, I have been on here for much longer than I thought I was. I appreciate the traffic. I appreciate everyone joining us here on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Again, do me a favor, if y'all don't mind, hit the like button for me on the stream. Make sure we can get this thing out into the algorithm. I know we're going to have a lot to talk about over the next few weeks because, as Sam Cook says, I think the changes are coming. And I think it's coming pretty soon. But for right now, we're going to keep on keeping on. Falcons play the Bucks on Thursday. Let's hope they can show a little fire and don't get embarrassed on national TV this week. Again, appreciate y'all. This is the Monday Minutia. I am Uncle Steve in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everyone. Y'all have a blessed week, and we will holler at you soon. Peace.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge.